Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo, and you know, one of the things I love about YouTube is the vast sea of differences of types of content, right? There is stuff out there that I find to be fascinating and interesting and worth a deep dive, and there's other stuff that I avoid like the damn ass plague. And it all kind of depends on how I'm feeling that day. But it's fun to kind of go into go down into the rabbit hole, if you will. Take that red pill. Sometimes it's, well, I'd say more often than not, it's a suppository, but it's there and you can take it and you can run with it. But what happens though when you push things too far or you take things too far with your theories and your conspiracies? Well, we get a situation like this where a conspiracy theorist vlogger was arraigned for death threats to YouTube employees. Now, this is obviously coming after the whole situation involving the YouTube shooter back in April, March, I forget now, February, I don't know. I think March. It was, again, it was a tragic thing, very tragic. I just can't remember the actual date, but it's coming on the heels of that, and it's coming on the heels of the changes to the YouTube partnership program. I would guarantee this is probably something to do with that. And it's the way YouTube has been acting recently, the way YouTube has been handling things recently. It makes it very difficult for some people and to get ahead, to earn a living doing this job. And part of that is simply because of the way that they are fearful of the type of content that can have advertisements running. Anyway, it says here that William Gregory Douglas, 35, is being charged with cyberstalking and transmitting threats via interstate commerce. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Last week, the FBI arrested William Gregory Douglas, 35, outside of an Oregon convenience store after he threatened to kill YouTube employees, including its CEO, Susan Wojcicki. Now, Susan Wojcicki is kind of like persona non grata on YouTube for a multitude of people, right? If she tweets anything, it just gets slammed with a whole bunch of comments. If she posts a video on YouTube, it gets slammed with a whole bunch of not nice things being said about Susan. And she also never addresses anything one way or the other, so you never really know where she stands on anything, which is one of the reasons why people do get frustrated. It is one of the reasons why communication is key. And even if it takes time to get there, it's still better than nothing, right? Now, Douglas was arraigned Monday and makes his first appearance in court. He's being charged with cyberstalking and transmitting threats in an interstate commerce. Douglas, an ardent believer in Pizzagate, among other right-wing conspiracy theories, tweeted a number of death threats at YouTube and its employees beginning August 23rd after his channel was deleted by the site's administrators. And yeah, that's been a big problem. YouTube, I've noticed recently, I've seen a lot of things pop up of them outright demonetizing channels. And if these channels are well within the TOS, I don't know why they're doing it. I don't agree with why they're doing it. And that's not cool. But there's something happening right now where they are looking at specific types of content and they are using the algorithm to determine this types of content. And they are acting in a way that is probably going to fuel more people like Douglas or William Douglas because of that fact. That's the scary thing. When YouTube relies on its algorithm for like 90 some odd % of most of the takedowns, and that's true. You can find a YouTube video titled "The Life of a Flag," and it tells you that the vast majority of takedowns come from the algorithm because it's searching for certain keywords, certain phrases, and certain things that are deemed not good. Now, I don't know who controls that. I don't know who writes that. I don't know who does anything with that one, but that's where we are right now. And we know about it. And it's scary because people put so much of their time and their value into this platform that when it gets demonetized like that, it can be a big problem. And if you are in the right, in the TOS, I don't think they should mess with you. And even then, it should probably err more on the side of letting people be what they're going to do than anything else. Now, it's unclear why the first channel was removed, though a new channel, which Douglas created in January, in which TubeFilter reported had apparently been demonetized, remains active. Well, the thing with that, though, is in January he created that account, but the demonetization, the new partnership program changes, didn't kick in until February, and you had to have 1,000 hours watched and or 1,000 subscribers, sorry, and 4,000 hours of content watched, which roughly translates to about 166 days worth of watched content within the first, within the first year, right? First 12 months. So if he didn't have that at that time, if he's coming in January trying to get 1,000 new subs and that 4,000 hours watched, that's a hard one to get. And a lot of people were clamoring to get there. So that's why live streams were a big thing, and people were pushing for subscribers, trying to get to that point of where they could get into the ad program. YouTube really messed with people on that one, and I was never a fan. Now, per the FBI, they say here that the criminal complaint alleges that Douglas posted a series of tweets that included language such as, "I would kill the 100 YouTube employees. You want a bigger mass casualty, aka shooting, let's see what I can do. And return my channel, you lowlife shoals. Before someone else comes and shoots more of your employees." On September 17th, 2018, Liam X-Mail Revolution X posted a message to Susan Wojcicki saying, "Susan, I'm coming for you today. #pray." Nothing about that is good. Nothing about that is good. But that's part of the frustration. People will take a situation like this and they will turn their frustration and their anger to something. And because the reason why, and I don't agree with a lot of what happens, is because they don't have the ability to get the answers. YouTube is so vague on everything that it creates this just vacancy of knowledge. And when that happens, you end up really, really, really not knowing, and that can cause a lot of frustration. And again, people are probably going to sit there and look at my situation and bring that up. And I'm just telling you, I fucked up, but I don't agree with a lot of the YouTube algorithm in this regard. I don't. I think that it's it's bad that it does this. I don't want to see people like William Gregory Douglas here get pushed to the brink because of something like that. I don't want that at all. I want, if he wasn't doing anything to violate the rules, even talking about Pizzagate, which I think is nonsense, I don't think you should be taken down for that. All right. I just want to make that abundantly clear for those of you that are watching this. Now, the shooting Douglas refers to happened back in April, so it was April, at YouTube's offices when a disgruntled YouTube creator named Nassim Agdam visited the offices and opened fire with a handgun. She wounded 3 employees and then took herself out. Before the shooting, she had repeatedly complained that YouTube had ruined her life by demonetizing her videos and censoring them. She felt unfairly. While there's no evidence YouTube censored her, the possibility loomed at large enough in Agdam's mind that she attempted to commit a mass shooting. The belief that YouTube suppresses radical views has become widespread among right-wingers and conspiracy theorists, in part because of YouTube's standards for policing their content are quite opaque, which is very true. And then it's gonna, the whole, okay, they're bringing up the data and society research thing here, but ultimately what it boils down to, and this is my opinion, look at Alex Jones, right? Alex Jones was banned, and a lot of people that are conspiracy theorists or right-leaning individuals are in many cases, I would argue, kind of rightfully upset at Jones. But the reason why Jones was deplatformed off of YouTube has everything to do with the fact that he kept circumventing the ban. He didn't wait for the 90 days. He kept jumping over to other channels, and they caught on to that, and they took him out, and that's what happened. That was the reason, right? So again, what you can disagree with YouTube in regards to its policies, but if you continuously try to circumvent the system, which is what Alex Jones did, then it ends up that's how they responded. That was their justification. But again, when you force someone to sit out from live streaming, which is how some people earn the vast majority of their income for 3 months, that's crippling them. So you can see why people are going to be upset. A recent study published by the Data and Society Research Institute reports that the opposite is true. YouTube's algorithms tend to encourage the consumption of extremist content rather than censor it. Well, there's a difference, though, in regards to the consumption of extremist content versus how much money you can make off of it, because we have the dreaded demonetization aspect, which is one of the things that pushed Nassim to do what she did back in April. Plus, that Data and Society Research Institute paper is completely garbage, completely BS. And anyone who's read it can tell you that right away. It's just, it's that entire thing was designed as a way to take channels like mine out. And I say mine specifically because I am mentioned in it. My name and my channels, and not just this channel, but Forbidden Knowledge and Mundane Chats were mentioned in that report as being part of this like alternative influencer network that caters to elements of the far right. I support Bernie Sanders, for Christ's sake. Right? Like, it's so stupid. In that light, it makes sense that a conspiracy theorist like Douglas might similarly believe that he's been secretly censored on YouTube. On his new channel, he describes himself as a leading revolution of the mind, saying, "I'm a descendant of the very powerful deep state player and JA&DB sanctioned non-terrestrial fucktards. It's sanctioned allowed these exotic monsters have immunity. There are way more monsters than what we have been shown, and the CP on JA site is just a smoking herring for us to say CC. But nevertheless, the sanctioned diplomatically immune figures are allowed to do as they please, and yes, they are all in on it together." And his pretrial hearing will begin on October 8th. So, okay, I'm a little bit confused on that last rant there. I mean, some of the things I'd read, another article I'd read claimed that he was pro QAnon. He pushed QAnon quite a bit, and that could be one of those aspects of, look, if you want to believe in QAnon and you want to believe in Pizzagate, I'm not going to, I'm not going to attack you for it. I'm going to disagree with you wholeheartedly, but I'm not going to attack you for it. You can have your beliefs. This is a weird situation because, again, this is going to be a problem. There's no way around it. There's no denying that this is not going to be an ongoing concurrent issue with YouTube. Many people have actually argued, and you can agree or disagree, and I don't really know where I sit on this particular point, but I've heard people make the claim, especially when they had changed up the partnership program information, the requirements, that when YouTube allowed from like 2012, I think, or 2013 to 2016, anyone to join the partnership program, you didn't need to go through any kind of prerequisite process, anything else like this. It was kind of this open game, what people have called like the golden age of YouTube, so to speak. I would argue 2016 was the golden age of YouTube. Then it opened up the door for a lot of these people to come in and a lot of this stuff to kind of take place, and people who were able to then grow because the algorithm was totally different in 2016. And then they made a lot of money and they were able to do a lot of stuff. And then you take that away from them because of the adpocalypse. The adpocalypse, that wasn't their fault, right? The adpocalypse is not the result of anything other than the Wall Street Journal and the BB and the British government looking for reasons to attack YouTube, and in different ways. Some have argued, and I've legitimately heard this argument, that Candid was the reason why the adpocalypse happened. I don't know what that person was smoking. They provided no evidence to back it up. I think they're certifiably nuts, kind of like this person here. And again, it's not like that had nothing to do with it, right? Like that had nothing to do with it at all. These tech sites are always establishing their algorithm in different ways. But what triggered it the most? What triggered it the most was the fact that you had Donald Trump got elected. That triggered a lot of it. Because a lot of the Wall Street Journal was looking to see why YouTubers, in my opinion, were getting more views than they were earning more money. And they found a couple clips of PewDiePie making off-color jokes that had context, and they took it and they spun it and they pushed it as this narrative. And then they found other videos that would have been deemed ineligible for monetization, like the Chief Keef video, where they said that they found 3 pre-roll ads, one for McDonald's, one for Toyota, and one for Starbucks. But yet, looking into it, we determined that video had only made $20.44 over the span of 6 months. So it literally just made like no damn sense. The whole thing just made no freaking sense. But they still pushed the narrative, and then that caused 216 companies to pull out of YouTube. And the estimated value lost in ad revenue, and I don't know how true this is just what I read, was estimated to be about 50 billion. And the companies not only pulled out of YouTube, but also Google. So, I'm just saying it was a lot of money. So YouTube responded, and then YouTube didn't communicate, and people got frustrated because people who had done nothing wrong were now being impacted. People who were being impacted over something that was somebody else's attack on them, and YouTube didn't know how to respond. It didn't properly respond, and it just felt like they just continued to crap on the people. And that's why people like Nassim did what she did. And that's why people like William Douglas here did what he did. I'm not excusing their actions or condoning their actions. I'm outright condemning their actions. But I can understand by looking at the flow of information, looking at where things went, and looking at how we got to this point, that we can see exactly how things went down. And people like William Gregory Douglas are not going to be the last time we hear about something like this. Nassim Aghdam is not going to be the last person we hear about with something like this. And that is something that is remarkably frightening. If YouTube would just come out and be more forthcoming with information, this whole thing would change. But YouTube is like an iceberg, and any move it makes, it has to be one that takes time to get to the end as it shifts course. I don't know. It's a horrible analogy, I think, but it's the trickle down effect of YouTube from top to bottom takes time. And oftentimes people don't realize it, and it's not their fault, and they get mad. And then dumb shit like this happens. And I hope that no one gets injured. I hope that no one gets hurt. I hope that they come forward, they talk about these issues, that they work on these issues, and that people can figure out a way to move forward, because that's what we all need to do at this point. Is we need to stop being angry about everything and look for solutions. And it's not easy. Getting angry and being stupid as a result is something I know pretty well. It's not easy. But I'm making a valiant effort to do that. I'm making a valiant effort to stop, to breathe, to think, and then make a choice. And I hope others do the same thing, because the last thing I want is a loss of life. The last thing any of us want is a loss of life. And those are just my thoughts on this one, this long, rambling rant. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Be sure to type YouTube in the comment section so I know you guys made it. And I look forward to your thoughts and your opinions on this one. Good, bad, neutral, not. I look forward to them. I will be talking with you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Remember to thumbs up the video, subscribe, and be happy. Just be happy. See ya.